Okay, we're going to start. So, first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us. We got a big response on this webinar. Apparently, change management in PMO and lessons learned are big topics, and they always get people from all different areas of business, come from companies big and small. So we're going to do our best today to give you a demo that's going to give you a flavor of how to really digitize your change management program. So without any further ado, a quick overview of the agenda, just so you can know what's on tap for today. Keep in mind, this is a 75-minute workshop demo. We're going to try to actually spend some time taking some comments, questions, and feedback. But we got a pretty hefty agenda as well. So I'm going to give you a little history of the software you're about to see today, PRESTO PDCA. And then we're going to do a demo simulation in the DuPont toy manufacturing company. We're going to talk about the PRESTO offering to give you an idea of what you'd be taking on in the event you would like to start using the software. And I think you'll find it's very easy just to kick off and start going. And keep in the back of your mind, there is a 14-day free trial, and you can pay monthly. So if you're curious about change management software, task management software, strategy software, this is a really good opportunity because you can pay monthly. You have a 14-day free trial, and there's a spectacular sale that's still on right now to the end of September. So you have 3 more days to get everything you see today for $4.99 a month, $4.99 a month. Cancel anytime. So I'll get into that in a bit, but we're going to talk about PDCA just to make sure everybody's in line with how to use PDCA effectively when managing change across an organization. We are going to speak about the famous Eisenhower matrix and how, as a PMO, as a change leader, you should be identifying the level of priority and the level of management intervention necessary when you're identifying activities, so that you can get those just do it projects and those quick wins out of the way as quick as possible without creating excessive bureaucracy. We're going to talk about standard work and recurring task management. So as you know, we in this company, with this product, you constantly hear the expression, change the business, run the business. And this product puts you in a position to know when to put on your change hat and drive improvement, and when to run the business, capture issues, and make sure that the processes that your company's carrying forward for you are carried forward correctly. And finally, hopefully there's going to be some time to see our new lessons learned reporting module, a very unique and rich set of reports that allow you to capture information, capture know-how, and actually immortalize know-how as you go through your project life cycle, so that other people can then go in and see it at later dates without having to ask questions or bother people. So that's what's on the agenda. Again, thanks for joining us. I'm going to really kick this off now. So a history about our company. The software PRESTO PDCA, you can see we've been around since 2016. We've actually been around since 2015. 2016 was when we actually localized our company in London. It originally was founded in Italy. Then we moved to London. We have about 35 shareholders. There's about 6 or 7 founding partners in the company, most of which come from multinational organizations who were doing change management for many years. And I like to show this slide just because, as a software engineer, I'm constantly being asked how certain features, how software comes to life. And it's not really the developers, and it's not really the engineers as much as it is the market, the need, the clients. And as you can see, this product was originally a CI, a continuous improvement process excellence product. And over the years, every client that came on board in this company changed it in some way to help the product become the full 14 dashboard operational excellence software that it is today. And every time we bring on board new clients, there's always the opportunity to create new features and new opportunities and new reporting. So you can see over the course of time, different countries, different types of organizations, services, manufacturing, big and small, had their say in creating this product. There's an example coming from 2019 in Belgium, when PricewaterhouseCoopers called us and said, we think your KPI solution could be a good opportunity for our client. And at the time, we didn't know who their client was. They were about to introduce us to Protection Unit, a company that's a leader in security surveillance services in Belgium and now Luxembourg as well. They're offering security surveillance services in most stadiums, most airports, and they have a fleet of drones of over 1,000, the last I heard. So you can see it was an interesting way for us to enhance our KPI module. After we started working with the team, they gave us the Hoshin Kanri Cascade, and they helped us enhance the Hoshin Kanri KPI reporting even more. Just an example, so you can see how PRESTO actually was developed. Today, we're going to spend more time on change management, but KPIs are in parallel to this topic. So we're going to spend our time in PRESTO today looking at the famous DuPont toy manufacturing company. This is a simulation company based on a real company in Switzerland, a mid-sized manufacturer. We've changed the names of the people in the pictures, but the processes and the goals and the initiatives and the KPIs, they're real. So basically, you're going to notice as a change manager using PRESTO as a solution, PRESTO, the biggest value it offers, if I can only give that famous 30-second elevator pitch, PRESTO's giving you top-down governance. Unlike typical change management, project management solutions in the market, where the first place they go is the people working at the lowest end of the hierarchical organization. PRESTO, we actually promote that the first users in the company be the decision makers, and they start getting all their tasks and all their strategic initiatives under control, and then cascade the usage downward. So what you're going to see now, we're going to be taking a look at this mid-sized manufacturing company, which consists of about 100 staff members, about 200 processes. And you can see there's the famous Samuel, the managing director. He has 6 divisions underneath him. And according to this call out on the left side, you can see 75 staff members. Now, I think when we go on the dashboard, we're going to see there's quite a few more. But what PRESTO gives you as a business leader, as a decision maker, it gives you the possibility to think outside of the box and make decisions that are going to allow you to do fail fast, fail forward, trial and error opportunities in change. And I like this quote from Steve Jobs, where he's telling you that the best way to come up with ideas in your company is to be organized. Now, I know I paraphrased what he said there, but that's the gist of what's going on. Is if you're organized and you can see, if your house is kept good condition and you know where everything is, you can quickly, in a very lean fashion, make attempts to manage things in a different way and fail fast and fail forward. In other words, trial and error. So what you see here now, there's Samuel. He's looking at the PRESTO dashboard. He sees himself. He sees his direct reports. He sees how many teams his direct reports have underneath them. He sees how many people are in his reporting line. Everybody, sorry, we didn't put the automatic mute on. So whoever's not muted, please put your mute on so we don't hear you. So here we are on the dashboard, and you can see there's Samuel looking down at his team, and he can see immediately how many people are in manufacturing, how many people are in purchasing and logistics. He can see how many business processes belong to those teams. And what you're going to see once you get on the dashboard, you have this quick click access to any of those things. So if you just join the company and imagine you're taking over for Samuel himself, your first goal is to get to know everybody as quick as possible and get to know what they do as quick as possible. And this dashboard allows you to really get 80%. This dashboard allows you to get 80% of the legwork out of the way before you even have a conversation or send an email. So what we'll do now, let's jump on the dashboard and you can take a look at this yourself. I'll highlight PRESTO's also tracking roles and responsibilities. So it's allowing you to say, on this team, we need this many project managers, and we currently only have this many. So then PRESTO is going to tell you where you have overstaffing and understaffing situations. So here we are again, jumping on the dashboard. You can see there's Samuel. He's responsible for... sorry, whoever's not on mute, could you please mute yourself? Sorry, we didn't get this under control from the beginning. We're a little bit disorganized when it comes to our Zoom webinars, but okay. So back to the the demo. So you can see this Samuel, he's responsible for 127 people. And if he wants to know who are those 13 people in engineering, he can easily just go click on that and he goes straight to the contacts panel where he gets to start seeing person by person who's on the team. And you can see I'm going through toggling through the actual people, and there's a bunch of information that on each contact, on each vendor, on each client that you can actually go look at depending on what you're actually interested in. But going back to the dashboard, he has his team leaders there, and then you can see he's also responsible for 204 business processes. And we're going to get into this in the second half of the demo, so you can see what value you have by being able to just zoom in and taking a look at these 23 processes in purchasing and logistics, where you just click and you can go in and you can start looking at all the teams in there and taking a look at the actual processes that they're cataloging for you. Now, what you see here is you just see a simple catalog. You're asking team leaders to say, what do you do? Group them in a macro, micro classification. So this allows you to start making your company's operating model more accessible and more leverageable for the actual change management team that often doesn't have that much connection to the run the business part of the company. They're more thinking of changes, but they're not always thinking about the daily processes and the checklists that support those processes. And we'll jump into that shortly. So taking this forward, a little bit more about Presto before we start to do some deep dive exercises into change management. As I mentioned, it consists of 13 dashboards. And you can see today we're going to be speaking about project and task management, but let's not keep off our radar that Presto has a document management dashboard. So you can see all the documents that are in those projects or all the documents in those processes, see what state they're in, see what condition they're in, open them up and go straight to the shared drive where they're located. Presto has a waste management dashboard where you can use the famous Tim Woods opportunity from lean waste management and capture all the waste reduction opportunities that your team leaders and your process experts are giving you. So all of this allows you to have now this top-down visibility of where your process owners and your team leaders are telling you where things could be done better. And if we take a look at the actual dashboard itself, I jump over here. So right now we're looking at project management, and we're going to be looking at mostly on this dashboard here where we have our projects that are grouped by project type. And right now I have a filter on saying show all the projects open today, and you can see there's none. But if I undo that filter, you can see there's all projects. We have governance and finance projects, environmental and community focused projects, growth and innovation projects, productivity projects, quality projects, people-focused projects, and risk and safety projects. Now I'm going to put the filter back on because it will be a little bit more easier for us to understand when we start doing some examples. But we have issue management, we have waste management. And I'll jump on this board just for a second so you can see the dashboards change as you toggle through them. So here we have all the different open waste reduction opportunities using the lean management Tim Woods style. So if I open up these, I can see I got 8, 10, 13, 14 waste in the sales and marketing team. I'm going to click this all button and see what these are all about. And you can see that your team leaders have said we have inventory waste on customer complaints. We have inventory waste on budget proposals. We have downtime and waiting when we're doing offer letter deliveries. We have upstream errors coming from the finance team, and they're giving you an example. They're giving you a description of their opportunities, and they're giving you benefits of what you'll get back if you fix them. Once again, we're not going to spend too much time on these things, but we have audit dashboard, documents dashboard. I mentioned a bit before. We also call it knowledge management. Here you have all your documents in your company that your team has aligned to processes and projects. So if I were to open up these customer documents on this team over here, I can see immediately we got client SOPs, we got process flowcharts, we got external pitches. And if you click on any one of those, as long as they linked it, it takes you directly to the shared drive where those documents are. So this allows you to now stop losing documents. This completely revolutionizes how your company operates, because at this point in time, you have everybody just linking documents to processes, to projects, and everybody's working from the dashboard instead of from people's shared drives, where most of the time people don't even know how they're organized. So as you can see, KPI dashboard, IT application management, asset management, idea collection, operational risk management, process competencies, skill endorsements, and transversal skills. Now, we could spend a good hour on each one of these dashboards. Today, we're going to be focusing on change management, PMO via PDCA digitization. So those are the 13 dashboards. I want to highlight to you, we are now officially in a new 5-phase offering. You won't see this online today, but you will see this online probably on Monday. We spent the last 2 months putting together our free for life offering. So you can see this 5th offer, which you see on the left. We are now offering Presto free for life for anybody, and you don't even need to put your credit card. You're going to be able to go in, sign up, and you're going to get a lot of the stuff you're going to see in today's demo. You could get in that free offering. But I wanted to highlight that everything you see in today's demo can be purchased with the basic plan. So I want to highlight, so the next 3 days, if you go online, you can buy the basic plan, and it's actually called the Scout. You'll see and there's a couple bundles that support this as well. They're all PMO bundles or change management bundles. So you can buy this plan in the special offer for the next 3 days. It expires on the 30th of September. We'll be happy to give you 3 one-hour training sessions once you sign up, and we'll also offer you 12 30-minute sessions for the next year. You have to book them at least 1 month in advance. Someone from our team will be happy to sit with you, look at your dashboard, train you, answer questions, whatever you need. So you get all of this for the price of your license, which if you only buy 1 license, the last piece about this, it's not even $9 a month. For the next 3 days, we're offering Presto until September 30 for $4.99 a month. So everything you see today in today's demo, you can buy for $4.99 a month, and you get this special consulting on the side to help you get up and going. We have a weak spot for small and mid-sized companies. We are a small company, and Presto over the years has grown not only with our clients, but also with us. So we really want to put the small companies in a position to start developing a multinational mindset when it comes to managing their operating model. So this is why we're looking for those growth-focused companies that really want to work with us and get their company up to speed using the system. So I'm going to highlight here, just in case there's somebody on the line that plans on making a big investment. We offer this, but up to 10 licenses. After 10, you're going to have to honor the regular package and the hourly offering that's outside of this special. So for our friends in India at the moment, you'll notice if you go online right now, this same package in India, just in India, is being sold for 99 rupees per month. This is going to change on the 1st of October as well. So if you're in India and you want to buy this product, you got 3 days to get it at 99 rupees per month. So that's that. I want to go into the logic of Plan, Do, Check, Act right now, so that you can understand the value that embedding Plan, Do, Check, Act into your business has, especially if you're a small business and everybody's wearing multiple hats. They have multiple roles. So I like to highlight that this expression over here from Henry Ford, saying nothing's really difficult if you divide it into small steps. And if I think most of us, if you look back over your careers, especially where you had moments where there was tough nights at work, working late, a lot of stress, a lot of people arguing, because change always brings on confusion, always brings on a lot of difficulty, and it's not always that pleasant. And if you look back at most of those moments, most of the time you'll come back and you'll say, you know what, if things were planned better, if things were broken down into smaller chunks and allowing people to be more focused on the deliverables, things probably could have went better. And that's what I get out of this expression here. So when we talk about putting things down into small pieces, we want to take a big initiative, break it down into smaller initiatives, get it on your dashboard, and then break it down even further, running it through the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. So just to give you an idea how we push PDCA, and I think most companies would agree this is the optimal way to do it. So when you're changing a company, you're coming up with an opportunity, you're coming up with ideas. Now, obviously, most of the time, those ideas come from process owners, people working on the lines. But of course, for those ideas to transform into investments, that you need senior management. And that's why it's super important that you have senior management has visibility, but also that the line level staff members have the go ahead, the mandate to be able to raise their hand and propose things without feeling like they're rocking the boat. But once you start collecting ideas in your company, you then want to start planning things. And when you plan investments, you plan initiatives, you're identifying objectives, task milestones, you're identifying resources, and you're agreeing start and finish dates. And that, in this case here, you actually have the team leaders who are now much more hands-on, because they're the ones that know how, they have the best idea how long it's going to take the resources to carry out those tasks and what those tasks are. Now, obviously, there was another famous expression by another famous American president that said something along the lines of the best leaders are the ones that know how to plan and then get out of the way of the workers to let them do their jobs. And that's where you're now in the do phase. And that's where your staff, if you plan correctly, if you have a good governance process in place, leaders can get out of the way because they're officially delegating, but with a good dashboard, they know when they need to micromanage, if they need to micromanage, and they also know where there's coaching opportunities, mentor opportunities where staff members and team leaders, they're 85% of the way there. They got the excitement of solving the problem, and instead of just giving them the answer, you coach them, and because you can see from the top down where those situations exist, and you can give people the help they need, but again, staying out of their way without getting that label of being a micromanager. And that's where the do phase becomes very magical for your company, to start feeling engaged and to start giving back to the stakeholders, to the shareholders above all. Then you're in the check phase. Once again, you got the team leaders that need to approve if the work was done correctly, team leaders, middle management. And then finally, the most neglected phase in change management is the act phase, where you have best practices to be shared and lessons learned to be shared, as well as celebrating success. So if you're in a very stressful company that's constantly fighting fires, this is where things get neglected. If some lessons were learned, instead of taking the time to capture them and disseminating them, you're sending your best resources on the next fire that's burning. Instead of thanking people and saying, guess what, this team of people got this stuff done, let's give them a hand, let's have a chat with them and see how they feel about how it went, to learn from them, you send everybody to the next burning fire that needs to get done. So here's where you're going to now put digital governance. You're going to put a digital mandate in place, saying, look, these are steps that we honor in this company. And as you can see, this act phase here, it should be in the hands of the highest people in your organization. So what you see here now, you can see the director is responsible. If a best practice has been identified, and there's another division that needs this best practice, well, it's not going to be a team leader or a staff member that's going to go into another division and just start talking about something that some people probably don't even know about. So it is the senior management's responsibility to keep the finger on the pulse, understand what's going on here, and then get that information in the hands of the right people. So today we're going to go into PRESTO. I'm going to show you how to capture a lot of that stuff and make it available for everybody. But just to give you an example about PDCA, you can see this is how a typical process waste reduction framework. So you have an opportunity to change the company. Somebody's identified process waste, and notice how I'm not saying it's an issue, because if a procedure doesn't say that something is supposed to be that way, then if there's a problem, it's probably not an issue. It's probably a waste. It's something that's accepted. It's part of the process. So here we have an opportunity in manufacturing to make a process better. And I use this example here. There's Anna. She reports to Mike, head of manufacturing. She's identified that there's excessive defects taking place during the circuit board assembly process, and she's keyed into the facts that there's a couple of things they could do to reduce those defects. One of the things being redoing job aids and retraining the staff. So if you take a look at what's going on here, you can see, okay, Anna goes to the division lead, and she says, well, we have an opportunity here, but I need your help. I need you to give us the go-ahead to launch the project. So there you can see there's Mike as the accountable party, acknowledging that there's an opportunity. Anna's driving it with the information she gets, working hands-on. But then once they put together a nice business case, it goes up a level. And there's Samuel, the head of the company, taking accountability. There's Mike telling you what activities are going to be done, what's the time frame, and who's going to be put on those. And as soon as he puts a convincing use fit case in the steerco meeting, they're going to agree that. And once they agree that, you can see there's Anna in her best staff members carrying out steps 1 through 5 in the do phase. As soon as they're done, senior management is now engaged again to make sure that they're satisfied the way it was done. And there's senior management again sharing the lessons learned. Notice how it goes down one notch of a level, where you got the division lead accountable, but Anna now has the possibility as a team leader to get to know team leaders in other divisions, saying, hey, guess what, guys, we just have a success story. We learned something. We want to share it with you. Great way to get employee engagement up and to get your company focused on being more Kaizen oriented. So using PRESTO to do this stuff, that's what we're here for today. A bit more theory for you. So we talked about PDCA, but what I constantly see, and I think most people in change management will agree, is, okay, you have this change management program, you have strategic initiatives that come from the top, and then you have hundreds of small projects, tasks, mini initiatives that support the strategic initiatives. But what happens is that they all get grouped together, and the senior management is constantly bogged down looking at a lot of things that they probably shouldn't be looking at. They're not staying as focused as you want them to be. So what we're going to do in today's demo, we're going to talk about different ways to prioritize work. So this is the famous Eisenhower matrix. So we got action priority matrix for non-standard work. And when I say non-standard work, I'm talking about things that you don't find in your daily processes, things that are changing your company, you're improving your company. So as you start engaging in non-standard work, you want to look at each opportunity, each activity in two lenses: by the impact it has on your company and the effort and time it's going to take to carry out something like this. So if you take a look at the matrix at the bottom, you can see anything that has low impact, low effort, we're going to call this a fill-in activity. These are the vocabulary terms my company is using today. So once again, you can adapt to this. You probably already have certain terms for certain things. If we're talking about activities that give high impact and low effort, well, that's obvious. These are quick wins. And this is what every company would agree that they could be better at. Everybody wants to be able to find those quick things, get them out of the way, and give back to the company more efficiency, more profitability. If we're talking about things that have low impact but take a lot of time, we're going to call those, in today's demo, one of those thankless tasks. And finally, if you have things that are giving back high impact, but of course take major investments, we're talking about major projects. So keeping that in mind, bringing breakfast in for the team, that's a quick win. Assisting a colleague in another department on resolving an issue, that's another quick win, an opportunity to really get your company to work together and share your know-how. Conducting an internal training workshop with your team, that's a quick win as well. Of course, obviously, as the complexity goes up, you start moving away from quick win towards major projects. Launching a lesson learned training project in another department. Now, pretty much anything that involves you going into another department is always a project. It's always going to be fall in some type of PDCA format, because you're going to need multiple middle or senior level managers saying that it's okay to do it. You obviously can't just walk into a team and start doing things if the division leader isn't aware of it. So that's why you can see we're starting to go towards major projects. Now here we have launch a cost-saving initiative, reducing defects from manufacturing. This is the example I just showed you, Anna with her defects. That's a PDCA project, making the company better. But as you saw in my example, you need to engage different layers of management to get something like that done efficiently and effectively. Paying an invoice, that's a fill-in task. Booking a flight to attend a conference, another fill-in task. Surfing the internet, well, in most cases, that's a thankless task, not really giving much back to the company, probably losing a lot of time. And archiving papers in file cabinets, that's a thankless task as well in most cases. I would like to highlight that sometimes these low-level tasks, the fill-ins as well as the thankless tasks, they pose high risk if they don't get done correctly. So now you're going to say, okay, we're not going to do a PDCA project as we do these things, but a second level of control should probably be put in place. So basically, maybe we're not going to be planning too much. We know it needs to get done. It's already in the do phase, but we're going to add a special check to make sure it was done correctly. So for today's demo, We're going to use 4 workflows, and these are completely customizable. These are the 4 workflows I created just for this demo. And I did it in a way just so that it's going to be very comprehensible to you. But once again, you can create your own workflows with your own terminology. But we're going to be, for fill-in tasks, we're going to be using a workflow called fill-ins. For quick wins, we're going to be using the Just Do It Kanban board. For major projects, we're going to use the PDCA Kanban board. And for thankless tasks, we're going to be using a Kanban board called Black Hole Tasks. And I think you'll see the benefits in just separating everything in this way as we fill up our dashboard. So let's do an exercise now. Here we are. We got these 9 exercises that are that we want to embed into our dashboard and give to the company. So I'm going to jump back on the dashboard now. And Presto, when you're on the dashboard, if you have a manager license, in other words, you can work on the dashboard depending on what level of hierarchy you've been assigned to. If Samuel, obviously, I've logged in as him. You can see him there. So he can see everything from himself down. Now, if I logged in as Mike from manufacturing, Mike would land here and he wouldn't be able to go any higher. That is, unless Samuel wants him to see the next level up. Maybe you're training Mike to become the managing director of the company. But that's all part of the administration of the licenses. And it's not just a technical discussion. It's also a cultural discussion. Who needs to have visibility into what? Who needs to have accessibility to which modules, which dashboard you see up here? But of course, you can tailor this to every person in the company so that they have exactly the level of permissions that you want them to have. Now, in this case here, we're going to start booking projects directly from this dashboard. So let's go bring breakfast for the team. Let's assign that to Danny from quality. So I click on that. I'm opening up the activity capture board. So here you have your org chart. So I can navigate up and down. I could say who's on Clotilde's team, sales and marketing. I click on her and I go down. Let's go back to the top. Now, if you don't see the people you need, you can just click on this button and you can immediately type in the name of any team leader. So in this case, we got Danny, head of quality, who's also on the left side as well. But you can see there she is, head of quality. And now we're going to add her. There she is. Bring in breakfast for the team. Bring in breakfast for a team. Now, here's my Kanban boards that we spoke about. Now, I've hidden all the other ones we use in this company for the purpose of making this demo very comprehensible today. So as I mentioned to you, we have fill-in tasks. We have just do it tasks. We have PDCA tasks. And we have black hole tasks. In this case, this is a fill-in task according to our Eisenhower matrix. And here we have the possibility now to give it a category. Now you can say per Kanban, you can say this Kanban can only be productivity. But in this case, this Kanban fill-ins, it can be any one of these you see here. And in this case here, we're going to call this a quality external focus. In other words, bringing breakfast in for the team enhances the quality of the employee's work day and enhances employee engagement. So I'm going to click the save button and I go straight to our project, our pop-up, bring in the breakfast for the team. And now we've set this up now so that it's a fill-in task, but we're officially in the do phase. And you can see, I have a checklist here. We've already acknowledged, it's ticked, it's blue. Blue is telling you it's complete. We've already planned activities. And now we have task 1, task 2. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go edit task 1, and I'm going to call this review menu from restaurants. So now I've officially created task number 1. And you can see we're zooming into the task. There's a bunch of things we can do. We can add documents. We can change the ratio matrix at the task level. I'm going to put a second task here. I'm going to say reserve place order. Place order. Now, I could continue to put these tasks in here. I'm going to close this for a second. And you can see there's our project. If I click on this button or even this button that shows you everything on the dashboard, you open up the project immediately. Now, we're going to spend a lot of time today on PDCA. So what I like to do, I like to use the PDCA report. And you can see now, if I open up my PDCA filter, we have one project on the dashboard and it's in the do phase. There it is. If I look at the PDCA report, I can see it was planned, it was acknowledged, it was planned, and now we're in the do phase. due date's September 28th. Now, by the way, I'm just noticing the way I've configured it. I have it, the act phase, the date pushed out. I should go back and say, no, the acknowledge and the plan should both be the 28th, because that was the real-time moment that it was acknowledged and it was planned. So I click on that again. And what you can do, you can see if I zoom into this acknowledge activities, you can see that there's that planned finish date, 5th of October. That means I configured it wrong in the Kanban setup, manual error, not a technical error. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say this was acknowledged today on the 28th of September. And I'm going to close that. And I'm going to go to the plan activities, and you can see this over here. Now, I want to keep an eye on what you see here. This activity is actually flagged as a plan activity, and that's why it's showing up in there on that PDCA report. Now, let's imagine I'm going to say, you know what? We need a little bit more managerial engagement on this. So we're not actually in the do phase. We actually need to plan it a bit more. So I'm going to untick this. I'm going to come here and I'm going to say we need Samuel himself. I'm kind of exaggerating, bringing the managing director, but we're saying we need the managing director himself to Samuel DuPont to plan this whole thing out before we actually execute. And now you can see there's Samuel DuPont, there's his initials. If I click on that, I go straight to the task again. You can see there's Samuel. We love explaining the RACI matrix every place we can in Presto, so the company starts understanding the importance of using it. So I can see here, there's my high-level RACI matrix again. There we are. So where now you can see I've unticked that plan box there. So now if I come back to this report, it's no longer blue. It's saying for the 29th of September, it's still open. In fact, let's imagine Samuel was supposed to plan it yesterday and now it's overdue. We're going to come in here. We're going to say, well, the 29th of September, guess what? We're going to manually update this to delay. Now, if we just left it overnight in the overnight cycle, it's going to automatically update to delay anyway. And you're going to see it on your dashboard as a big red ball. But now you can see here we are. We're still in the plan phase and it's overdue. So that's how you start creating different types of projects. Now I'm going to jump to the summary dashboard where I have those 4 Kanban boards: just do it, PDCA, fill-ins, and black hole tasks. So there we are again with the fill-ins. Let's go do a couple more. So what's example number 2? Assist a colleague on another team in resolving an issue. So I will assist a colleague in resolving issues. So here we are, we're training new colleagues on how to resolve issues the DuPont way. Who are we going to assign this to? Let's imagine it's in the sales team. It's under Fred. So I'm going to jump. There's Fred. This again is a fill-in task. This is a training task, people focus. And now I save that. In this case here, I'm going to say, let's forget about this preloaded checklist. Let's go straight to our best practice archive, where you have all the best practices that people have been saving in the company. And now you can see somebody has here booking a flight, archiving a general task. I thought we had, excuse me 1 second. So assist a colleague. So that's sorry, we're on this is a quick win, not a fill-in. Assist a colleague. So that's why this best practice archive is assigned to the fill-ins. That's why I'm seeing different things. So what I'll do now, I'm going to close this, and I'm going to change the Kanban board. I'm going to say this isn't a fill-in task. This is a quick win, and the other one should have been a quick win as well. So here are all the Kanban boards we're using. I had them hidden from the dashboard just to make the demo a bit more comprehensive. But there's our just do it. Oh, sorry, this is a quick, just do it, excuse me. So here we are on the just do it dashboard. So now I should see a different set of best practices. So now you can see these are a bunch of best practices assigned to the just do it. And now you have issue resolution training. There's the best practice. I'm going to import that checklist, and you can see 3 steps: understand the issue, analyze troubleshooting, implementing, and documenting the solution. And if I zoom into that task, you can actually see if there was a description, you would see it listed over here. Now, we didn't load the descriptions, but you can load all kinds of information for each, including documents. So when somebody downloads a best practice, you give them exactly the framework they need. Now let's imagine this here is going to start 1st of October, and we expect this to finish at the end of October. Now I'm going to jump back to the other one, which was assigned to Danny. We're going to open that up again and reassign this as a just do it Kanban board, not a fill-in. Save that. Okay. So now I'm going to jump back to the PDCA dashboard, and you can see there we are. PDCA dashboard. One of these projects has been open. One of these projects is in the do phase. One of these projects is still in the act phase. So we would need to go into the new project we just opened up, and we would actually need to give it a different acknowledge and plan, do, check, act cycle. So taking that back to this, let's do major project, give a presentation to another department on lessons learned. So I'm now going to come here. I'm going to say, let's give this to Celine. So present lessons learned in HR to manufacturing team. In this case here, it's going to be a PDCA project, and this is a training project as well. So I save that. And now you can see here we've got a 5-step Kanban board where we're acknowledging. These are the key steps we're doing to acknowledge. We're planning. And now here we're in the do phase. And in this case here, I'm going to go back to this again, give a presentation to another department on lessons learned. Let's go to our best practice archive instead of doing it manually. And you can see lessons learned presentation and documentation, import. And now there's the key steps that Celine's responsible for. There's the steps for checking. There's the steps for acting. Now, obviously, as you acknowledge, as you come through here, let's imagine we've identified the opportunity. We provide key documents, conduct cost benefits analysis, approve, reject. Now we're in the plan phase. Agree key benefits, agree owners, finish start date. So we've agreed the key activities. There they are. So I can tick this box. Identify the activity owners. So now we're here. We might come in here and go task by task. We might assign owners, or we might just stay at the high level and say, this is going to Mike as well as Julie. And as you're creating your RACI matrix, your people in the RACI matrix are getting alert messages. They're getting email messages. In November, we have our mobile app coming out. So you're going to be getting notifications in your pocket if you're in a RACI matrix and you have it configured that you want to be notified for certain Kanban type of activities. So now we're going to say this one here, we want this to start mid-October and we want this to finish mid-November. So now we've identified owners and we've identified start and finish dates. Now we're officially in the do phase. So now if I refresh my screen, we should just take a look at what we've built so far. A note that in Zoom calls, especially heavy Zoom calls with a lot of participants, things can get a bit slow. Look at PDCA. You can see we got 2 in the do phase, 1 in the act phase. If I want to look at that using the PDCA report. So you can see we're starting to build our portfolio of projects. And of course, when you look at this and you say, there's Samuel again, still having difficulty getting the plan phase closed. And now we can come in here and start working on things like that. Now, as you're understanding how these things are captured, you can now come in here and you can say, okay, let's give this, let's add some notes. So on this panel over here, you can come here and you can say, okay, assist a colleague in resolving the issue. Let's highlight that, okay, issue request was made on 26 September. And I may even want to backdate it. Someone say it was made on the 26th of September, put a nice description, and I can also start tagging people. So let's imagine this issue came from Mark in logistics. So there's Mark, we're going to add him. So he's going to now be getting tagged. He's now going to be getting email messages, stuff like that. And now you're adding notes. Here you have the possibility to add documents. So let's just take a random document from my OneDrive widget at the bottom of my screen. So you can see, here's where I have all the documents. Every time I save a document in my OneDrive, it gives me the history here. So I saved a PowerPoint presentation 48 minutes ago. I'm just going to grab this and grab the URL, the link, and I'm going to, so you can see there's my link, copying the link, and I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to say, what is this? This is a PowerPoint presentation. It's let's just imagine this was a training manual for lessons learned. So this is part of the project. What status it's in? It's updated. Minor updates are required. Major updates are required. Sign off required. Now this is completely customizable. You can create your own types of RAG statuses per document type. Missing, if you need a document and it still doesn't exist yet and you want to let everybody know it needs to get done, you're going to put this status missing. Renewal approaching, renewal urgent, draft, updated. And then you can put some dates and stuff if you want to be reminded when the document needs to be updated. That's it. Like I said, we could spend a lot of time just on each module, documents being one of the more rich ones. Now, what type of document is this? Is a customer document. Actually, let's make it. It's a learning and growth document. It's a training, let's say it's a user manual, and it's a job aid. So you have a taxonomy of documents here, document type, document subtype. So I save that, and you can see now we have a training manual for lessons learned. If I close this, and we're going to come back in a second, but I'm going to close this, you can see we have one note, we have one document. So as you start adding these things in there, you're going to see that number increase. Now, the last thing, since we're talking about PMO, it wouldn't be very efficient if we don't talk about strategy. Now, here's where you have visibility into all the strategic goals in your company. So here at DuPont Toys, they have OKRs. Now, these are all the strategic OKR investments that have been identified in the boardroom. So what are they doing 2023, 2024? Well, they're developing a mentor program. They're introducing all employees to Lean. They're investing in ISO 9001. They're investing in 3D prototype printing. They're implementing a CI system. They initiate customer service process, and they're developing growth strategies. So here's where they're opening up their wallet to make the company better. So now, while you're in here, you're going to say, does this activity support any one of these change activities? And it may not, but in this case, we're probably saying introduce all employees to Lean concepts. Well, this helping out colleagues solve issues cross-departmentally and sharing knowledge, that definitely supports Lean. So this project could be considered a support to a strategic project. So now what that gives you, I'm going to close this now and say, show me all the projects again. Here on your dashboard, show me all projects in the company. So all these projects on the dashboard, here's where you have all your strategic initiatives listed. And I can say, show me every project in this company that supports OKR number 6, where we're investing in 3D printing. So we have a big initiative launching 3D printing across the company. And you can see these are all open projects cutting across different verticals in the company that support this initiative. And we're in PDCA format. Let's take a look at all of them at once. So you get this top-down view. We're investing in 3D printing. In PDCA, we got governance project and finance projects, environmental projects, internal focus, external focus, people focus. And of course, as you're looking at these projects from the top down, you can always just come in, click, and go straight in there and start working on the start looking at comments, start making notes, start checking out the tasks and the dates. So this is where you're, as a PMO, you start to get that confidence that you have control of things, because if you don't like what you see here, you know exactly who needs to go in fix things or give you what you want to update. And that's another unique feature about this software, is that once again, we're not saying the whole company needs to be updating this. If you get the whole company doing it, you're going to see some amazing results. But in most situations, especially when you start, you're just going to have a small team managing a large portfolio of change. It's good to start with that small PMO, just getting this updated. And then as you have people getting more involved, start giving them access to their own teams, to their own projects. So that's us looking at everything from the top down. It's keeping in our agenda in mind. Let's go forward now. Let's talk a bit about, again, I'm going to highlight everything you saw. Everything you've seen up to now is part of the special offer. You just need to buy the basic package. All of this for the next 3 days, $4.99 per month. So let's talk a bit about standard work. In this company here, we have Anna. She's on the assembly team in the manufacturing department, division, however you want to call it. And you can see here she has her macro processes. She printed circuit board assembly, large toy assembly, and she does a couple other processes. Here she has her steps. So now what we're going to do, once again, we're putting yourself in the role of the new mentor to Samuel, or maybe even you're going to be the new CEO. So what do you want to do? You want to start getting to know what people are doing. So let's click on the org chart. Let's go find Anna. So Anna's actually here on assembling. So if I just click on Mike, I can go straight to his dashboard with that shortcut button there. As you can see, there's Mike. He's responsible for 7 people. As you can see here, 20 business processes. Those are the 4 direct reports. Those are his teams. We're interested in assembling. So Anna's telling you she's responsible for 6 processes. So I open this up now and I can see she does management reporting, weekly defects report, monthly accident report, daily defects report, and she does general assembly. So she's doing printed circuit board assembly, large toy assembly, small toy assembly. So what you do now, you're cataloging your business processes. This is now we're running the company. 2 minutes ago, we were changing the company. Now we're running the company. This is what people get paid for. This is why clients are paying you, because you have this consistent quality service of doing things. And one of those things is that we assemble circuit boards. So if you want to know, how do I assemble circuit boards? Anna's giving you one or more checklists, and she's telling you this is how we assemble circuit boards in this company. So she's giving you step by step. And you can zoom into each of these steps. You can put more details. You can even put a more detailed RACI matrix. And this is super useful when you're working online with people, because when you're architecting, when you're building a process portfolio and people are all sitting in different locations, working remotely, it's good to put this in front of everybody and then build your RACI matrix, fill in your descriptions of things together. So then at the end of it all, everybody on the call can look at the steps, they can see themselves, and they can say, yes, this makes sense to me. I am responsible here. I am consulted over here. I don't have anything to do with this step, things like that. So here you have your steps. Now, while we're here, I want to highlight, I showed you how to link documents to projects. Here's where you link documents to processes. So this process here has 4 documents linked to it: Word document, a Visio, PowerPoint, Visio. And just as we did in project management module, you open this up and you link your document like this. So if I want to know what's the circuit board assembly general procedure, there it is. And if I click on that, even though I have no clue where Mike and Anna save this document, as long as I have access to their shared drive, and that's obviously part of your IT administrator's responsibility to understand who has access to what folders, I can click on that button and go straight in there. And once again, there's my know your customer compliance procedure. Bit slow because we're in Zoom. It's usually quicker than this. So there's your documents. Quickly, I'm going to just show you. Here's where you can see who knows how to do that. So Anna's telling you she has 4 people on her team working on those 3 processes. Here she's using the famous skills matrix to say Carolina is having difficulty getting to level 3 on small toy assembly. Not going to spend too much time on this, but I want you to know it's there at your fingertips, because sometimes this information is important when you're staffing a project, when you're putting a project together. So now, this case here, let me put the filter back on. Show me only stuff that was open today. So there's nothing. So now we want to launch this project, this process, so we can govern it. Now, I should have showed you, while you're on this panel over here, you can actually say, this checklist here, I want this checklist exported to Anna's, to Mike's dashboard on a weekly basis every Wednesday. Now here there's a bunch of things I have to fill out to set it up first. I'm going to do it quickly just so it makes a bit more sense. Put a priority. So now I've officially configured the export process, and now I'm going to come here and turn on the timer. I'm going to say every Wednesday I want this process checklist on our step checklist dashboard, and you can even set it up to say this needs to be done within a certain amount of days. So immediately you're governing, you know, if somebody's not getting stuff done. We have clients now that have all their processes checklists like this, and these checklists are getting exported to the dashboard. If the process owners don't actually tick the boxes and do what they're supposed to do, the people above them are going to see the process checklists go from green to red. I'm going to turn that off, otherwise it's going to export automatically, and I'm going to forget to turn it off later. So there's where you're setting things up. But if you want to do it manually, I'm going to say, okay, here's Anna again. And now here's where you have the possibility to create other types of Kanban boards that support process work. In this case, let's keep it simple. That job there, to just do it. When she has to do it, she knows it needs to be done. So there's Anna. We're going to say, excuse me, so there's Anna. Circuit board assembly. Let's imagine this is for order number 456. we're going to put it on the Just Do It Kanban board, and this is going to be productivity related. Now, in most cases, when we talk about run the company initiatives, there's no reason to give choice here. You say this is a process, it's productivity. I just didn't have it configured for this demo, but I'm going to save that now, and now you can see here we are. Just Do It is already giving us this preloaded checklist. We're not interested in that, but we are interested in Anna's portfolio of process checklists, and there it is. So you can see here, there's our checklist to do a daily checklist for circuit board assembly. There's your steps. There's the people that are actually assigned in the racing matrix, and you can start working. So now we've officially created a run the company project, however you want to call it, maybe a process in action. So that is how you can now start managing change the company activities, managing run the company activities. Now, just so you know, the big news for us, we haven't really publicized it yet. We're coming out with a third dashboard for run the company initiatives. And what's going to happen now is we're taking the change the company, the change management dashboard, or project management dashboard, most clients call it, the issue management dashboard. So these are just issues that we're tracking based on change the company activities as well as run the company activities, mostly run the company activities. And we're coming out with this third dashboard that's going to be just for productivity stuff coming from here. We're going to take them and put them in a different box. So it's going to be clear while you're using the dashboard, when you're changing the company, when you're running the company. And we think that's going to add a lot of value to make people, to make leaders cascade down the concept of how to manage a PMO using these two lenses. So change the company activities, run the company daily activities, and issue management. So just wanted to put that on your radar. Okay. So taking Sorry, can you put yourself on mute, please? I don't know who that is. Unless, or somebody asking a question. Questions will, I'll open the line up for questions in 10 minutes, I promise. So really quickly, lessons learned. So thanks for staying this far, seeing how we manage projects. Here's this demo. This is a lot of new, you see a bunch of reports now that have just been launched in the last few months, and we're just getting to know them. But this is a very powerful module here. So keep your mind open as I show some of these things here. It's still not the perfect demo, but what we're all about here is we're about keeping knowledge, keeping know-how in the company. This is the famous forgetting curve. I think most people agree, if they learn something and they don't immediately repeat it, they don't immediately do some hands-on work, more time that passes by, the more likely they are to forget it. So this graph to me looks very realistic to at least the way I remember things. I'm a type of person that needs to continue to repeat things and work hands-on. So basically, the study continues to take forward that if you repeat things, your level of knowledge retention will stay higher than if you don't repeat things. So our goal is to have all of your know-how on your dashboard so that you can jump in and out of the teams, in and out of activities in the moments where it's important, and then use free time to go back and backtrack, see things, see comments, and actually capture lessons learned. So in this case here, this is how I'm currently capturing lessons learned. But if you become a user, you're going to see this flexibility to the way you customize the tags that you're going to use and the lesson learned framework. So the way I see lesson learned capture, you're observing, you're identifying root causes to problems, and you're capturing lessons learned. So how does that look during the cycle of change? So there's your PDCA cycle, and you can see throughout your cycle, you should constantly be observing. You should be observing what's going on and capturing observations that are going to add value to not just you, but people in the future that need to try to build off of what you've brought to a certain level. So you're capturing observations. You're also as you're making observations, there's going to be unexpected issues, unexpected slowdowns, and when that happens, it's your responsibility to be in a position to try to identify why that happened, so that you can go back later and try to eliminate the root cause. And that's why you're in that root cause analysis. And once you get through that, if you're lucky enough to get through that, and you're not forced to just stay in firefighting mode, you're now in a position to capture lessons learned and make them available so that other people in the future won't make the same mistakes that you made with your colleagues. So first thing you do in your observation. So here in Presto, where we have a series of tags. Now this is completely customizable. These are the tags that I use. So when you're making observations, you're tagging things that you like, you're tagging things that you don't like, you're tagging key concepts, you're tagging vocabulary terms. How many times do you work on a project, especially if it's in multiple languages, and you're like, you know what, there's a bunch of terms here that everybody in this project need to become familiar with. And so you tag those terms, and you do this all on the notes panel that I showed you earlier. You're making notes and you're making tags. You're tagging when there's disagreements. You're tagging when agreements are made, things that you just, important moments that you want people to know took place in the project. So when there's, these are the tags that I'm using. So I kind of just went through them. So then when you get to the second level, root cause analysis, I use the 7 road hazards of change management. And those 7 road hazards look like this. So when something goes wrong, I put them into one of these 7 categories. In other words, sometimes somebody orders a stop. You have no clue why, but somebody stopped working and you find out, yeah, my manager said he doesn't want me working on this anymore. And you're thinking, wait a second, I thought we agreed this was part of the project plan. Rabbit holes. Sometimes somebody's doing something that you just wasn't on the agenda, and it seems to be like somebody working on something that you didn't realize what they interpreted was their task. Unexpected issue, probably the most common one. No matter how good a project is planned out, earthquakes happen, things get closed, people get sick, all kinds of stuff happens. You want to flag those issues and say, wait a second, the project plan is now going to be changed. Either we need to do something, or we need to build some type of buffer to enhance the plan. Detours. Sometimes once you start working, you realize, you know what, we didn't plan this perfectly. We probably need to do something extra to hit the objective that we were originally trying to hit with the original plan. So you add detour tasks. Slow down. That's, I think, every company in the world understands slow down. You make a plan, you think things are supposed to go one way, and you just get the impression certain resources are not working at the speed they're supposed to be. And that's not just people, but also machines and structures and frameworks. Lack of power. Original resources allocated to the project are not sufficient. So maybe you have a lack of expertise, maybe you have a lack of assets, machinery, whatever it is. You realize, you know what, the original structure we put in place does not support the objectives we're trying to achieve. And then finally, another root cause I like to use as an issue flagger is excessive confusion. If you see people arguing, well, something's not right, obviously there's a lot of confusion, something wasn't planned right, and this is a great way to just kick off the discussion to say we need to understand better. So as you're going through the life cycle of your project, you're using these tags to let the company know where things didn't go as were planned. So finally, when you get to that, once you get your root causes in there, you're now in a position to start brainstorming with your team, figure out what happened. So now this is the set of lessons learned tags that I'm currently using. But I invite anybody, especially those of you who are already Presto users and you're experimenting with this module already, I invite any of you to share with us where you've been successful in creating lessons learned tags. And of course, we'd be delighted to do some type of workshop in the future, maybe even a 2 or 3 hour workshop where we can do a show and tell with other clients. So keep that in the back of your mind. That's on the horizon somewhere. We just need to get some time to organize something like that. But I promise, once enough of you come back to us and say, hey, we want to share our lessons learned tags, our strategy, I'll be delighted to organize the workshop where we can really do a nice networking session, even if it takes a half day of our time. So the lessons learned I'm going after, and I've used a couple sources already, where lessons learned in budgeting, lessons learned in leadership, lessons learned in innovation, operations, information and technology systems, customer service, industry knowledge, strategic management, and so forth. So you can see these are the type of lessons learned that I have, up until now, I'm able to categorize every lesson learned I found into one of these categories. Is there a more streamlined group? Potentially, but I find this good so far, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's jump to the dashboard for a second so we don't lose track of Presto. Let's go all the way to the top again. So now, for those of you that are users, you've already noticed, we've already reached out a few times with the new job aids, with the new showrooms that support the lessons learned modules. We have another big video web page coming out very soon that explains to you how to capture lessons learned from soup to nuts, from beginning to end. So at this point, let's take a look at all the projects out there, and let's open. Here's our lessons learned panel. And once again, everything you see here is customizable. You can go to your admin panel and you can create your own set of tags. Here's my observation tags: vocabulary, agreement, disagreement. And if I click on this, I get a description in there. If I put it in there, vocabulary. So these are my observation tags. These are my road hazard tags, which I've showed you already. Someone is ordered to stop, do not enter, expected slowdown. If I click on that, I should see some descriptions, but I don't. It's because I didn't put them in there. And finally, here are my lesson learned tag. So now what you can see, I'm looking at a dashboard and it's showing me. I'm going to refresh the dashboard, and I can see from an initiator point of view, there's 38 tags out there in these projects that are currently showing on the dashboard. And out of those 38, you can see Samuel made 22 of those 38 tags. There's me. Andrew made 11. There's, I forgot her name, Sonia. She made 3. So those are the people that initiated it, but you might also be interested in contributors, people that were tagged. Doesn't mean they made the tag, but they're in a tag. So now I look at this and I can see here, Anna's been tagged 5 times. So what I could actually do, I could actually say, where has she been tagged? And I'm just going to come here. I'm going to put her name. And I'm going to say, show me those 5 tags where Anna was the 5 notes where Anna was tagged. And if I open my notebook, this button here, you can see these are the different notes that come from the project. So you can see on the 29th of August, be proactive when reserving training facilities. Now here, we actually have a lesson learned tag. And you can see on the 29th of August, this was the name of the project, reduce defects on circuit board assembly. So I'm going to click on that. Here's more details to the project. You can see there's Anna tagged. There's the note. The details to the note. And of course, if you really want to get your hands dirty, click on that and you're going straight into the project where the tag was made. So you see there she is. She was tagged in the act phase. If I open up the act phase, there's the tag that allowed us to get to this. So let's take a look at how this looks in reality. If you let's do a couple of simulations really quickly. Website development, right? So we're developing a website. We've planned it. Here's all the do tasks. Now, where you see that red, something bad happened, something that we didn't expect happened. So what happened in this, we had some confusion. We didn't know what was going on. And then we had to take a detour. So if you take a look here, there's a deviation. We added 2 months to the project due to the redesign and extended testing. So basically what happened was we were supposed to build a website, and all of a sudden we found out we weren't doing it correctly. So we had to add 2 months to the project. So now the lesson learned, you're going to see we're backtracking, but it's step number 2, is that when we were planning in PDCA, invest in planning and maintain clear communication channels with clients throughout the project. So basically that we're building a website and we found out halfway through it that the client Hold on a second. I think someone needs to mute themselves again. Okay, thank you. So you can see we found out that during the planning phase, we should have had better. I tagged this as a customer service lesson learned, and I reverse engineered it here for the purpose of this demo. Lesson learned was client relationship management process needs to be structured to allow for a more open communication with the client. Website development process needs to be more proactive in the planning phase to allow for better information to flow to and from clients from the client service team. So what's the lesson learned? It's up here, but it's also reverse engineered. Lack of communication between clients and the client service team will result in misinterpreted client requirements and excessive client confusion, which also equates to lost time in redesign and revision activities. Let's do a couple other ones really quickly, and then we'll do one in the system. Software upgrade. What happened here? Unexpected change, compatibility issues. So we're building software, and I know a lot about this topic over here, where you're building something, you find out later that it's not compatible with what you're trying to do. So what happens, there's a compatibility issue. So we had to take a detour. We had to add 2 steps: compatibility issue resolution, revised testing. So then when we reflect on this, the lesson learned is that when we were in step 3, compatibility testing, we have an information technology system lesson learned. Prioritize thorough compatibility testing with existing systems before moving into the development phase. So failure to conduct a thorough compatibility phase will result in unexpected bottlenecks, which result in lost time. So finally, one more: marketing campaign. Your marketing team has an unexpected change in strategy adjustment. So what happened here? You're in the middle of a marketing campaign and you realize we really need to rewrite all the content and reposition the content that we published. Why is that? So we're taking a detour. Strategy adjustment and content revisions took us into 2 additional months. So where's the lesson learned? Well, the lesson learned here is we should have done better market research. So lesson learned: conduct thorough market research before launching your campaign, or you might find out that your campaign's not hitting the target market that you're supposed to be going after. And that's exactly what you see here. So in the spirit of saving time now, let's take a look at this example we had here. So we're reducing defects on Anna's assembly team. So as we go through here, we find some new vocabulary words while we're planning. So that's a nice value add. So let's go back to that project that we just booked. I hope we just booked it. So here we are, open today. So here's Anna's project. So you can see circuit board assembly order number 456. Now in this case here, all right, hold on a second. I want to redo this project using the PDCA dashboard. So I'm going to come here. There's Anna. And we're going to assign her circuit board assembly defect reduction initiative. So we're going to retrain the team to stop making defects on this process when they do it daily. This is an efficiency process. So it's putting it on the PDCA dashboard. So now you can see immediately, here we are in PDCA. There's Anna as responsible in the acknowledge phase. She's consulted in the plan phase. And she's on reducing defects. So here's our reduce defect reduction checklist. So this is best practice on how to reduce defects in manufacturing. So let's just imagine that we've done this, we've planned this well, and now we're officially in the do phase. So let's imagine some of these tasks are done. You can see green means everything's under control, on course for successful completion. So let's take a look at this. Well, let's imagine while we were planning, we found some new vocabulary terms. So here I'm in the plan phase. Agree key activities. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say here on the notes panel, let's imagine we have a new circuit board assembly terminology that we want to share. So here's my observations. I'm going to tag that vocabulary and I'm going to say circuit board router. Let's imagine this is a new vocabulary term, and I'm going to put the description here and I'm going to save that. So we've saved that. We've tagged a new vocabulary term. What else happens in this project? We've agreed during the plan phase that this team here is going to do things. So sometimes it's useful when you agree the activity owners to tag the moment and say, let the company know a significant agreement was made. You may even want to call this a milestone. But when I come back to the notes and I'm going to say here on this tag over here, there's my agreement tag. Now, by the way, a bit sloppy, but what I should have is descriptions in this drop down. We didn't put them in here, but you can put nice descriptions to help your company understand exactly what the tag's all about. So here, agreement to work with Evelina and Mark. So, and you might even tag them as well. So now they're going to show up on the contributor dashboard, as we saw earlier. I'm sorry, is her name Evelina? No, it's not. Okay, I'll just tag some random people. There's Mark, and let's put Julie in there. I remember her name. So there's Julie. So now we're tagging that an agreement has been made with these two people. So tag them, and you're seeing Samuel's picture because I'm logged in as Samuel. We've logged in as him. So now what else is this project giving us? And now we're also going to say, great work. We've approved the project on the approval date. And, maybe it's such a big moment that we feel the need to actually tag that. So we're going to say, great approval. Let's go. And I'm going to give it a nice thumbs up. So now you can see we're creating a nice archive of notes. So you can see that number 3 there is giving us the history of what's going on in the project. So now what happens, let's imagine we go to do some training and the training room is completely unprepared. The screens don't work. The electricity is out, whatnot. So at this point, we're going to say, you know what? We did all this work to get ready for this project. And on the day of the training, it got completely postponed. So conduct training, I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, I'm going to put a note. I'm going to say, in this time, we're talking about road hazard. So there's my road hazard. I'm going to say an issue, unexpected issue encountered. I'm going to say training room not equipped with LED TVs. So we found out that we didn't have the equipment we needed. So now we've officially captured a lesson learned. A road hazard. What else do we got? So now we've got through it. We fixed everything. But of course, the project gets delayed, and you would see that in your task list as you're changing the dates. We celebrate success, but now forget about doing that for the sake of time. But we are going to capture the lesson learned that whenever we do this type of training from a technical point of view, make sure that all the technical equipment is ready before you launch that. Now, to be honest with you, we could probably put this in the capture the lessons learned phase over here, or you could actually come straight to the plan and say, when we were planning, we were agreeing the key activities. I'm going to capture a lesson learned here. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to go to my lesson learned archive. There it is, information and technology systems. And I'm going to say, better to prepare with IT team. In other words, engage IT or facilities team, engage facilities prior to training date. Of course, you can get much more detailed and put much more information, but for the sake of this demo. So anyway, what you can see now, we've got a nice, rich archive of lessons learned. So now someday when the facilities team is looking at all your projects, and I'm going to look at all archived projects in this company. So now you can see this is everything that this company ever worked on. Not archived, all projects. So we got all projects that are open as well as all projects that are closed. I'm going to say, tell me every lesson learned in this company that is related to facilities, mistakes we made with the facilities team in the facilities and IT setup. So here's my tag. So now I select that tag. And now you can see there's 3 lessons learned. There's out there, 3 tags out there. I open them up. And I can see there's a project on September 28, project on September 11, project on August 29. And this is the one from today. Of course, if I click on it, there's what we just put in there. There's our note. And of course, if we want to go straight to the project, click that and you're in there. So anyway, that's that for today. We've covered a lot of ground. I know 75 minutes seems like a lot, but we could have, I would have liked to go slow, and I would have liked to have more Q&A, but I'll stay on the line for anybody that's interested in asking questions now. I want to remind you that everything you saw today, you can buy for the next 3 days for $4.99 per month. So I see there's still quite a few people on the line. I haven't had a chance to look at any of the people, if I know any of them, but yeah, it looks like a lot of people. If anybody would like to ask questions, or right now, I'm looking in the chat. I see 9 questions. Okay, thank you. So I see a lot of people had to jet early. Would anybody like to ask any questions vocally? Feel free to turn on your mic. Like I said, I can stay on for another 15 minutes. Thank you for all staying on the line. I'm excited. I'm surprised there's so many people that are still on.
Hey, Andrew, my name's Mike Hager. I've dropped in 2 questions in the chat.
Okay.
I can read them again if you want, or you can
I got them right in front of me. So for Q&A, whenever that is, how does Presto gain data to function? Are there any insights relative to cost of ownership given the backend? I assume I needed to make the ET work, ERP Presto. Okay, so basically, I just had a really interesting demo this morning with a very big company. And that question always pops up. And my response always is, you have to remember, if you were to look at everything, every piece of information you saw today, how much of that information do you already have in an application somewhere? And I think you would agree that most of that information, the percentage of information that already exists in your ERP is very low. It's not like your typical software application. In fact, the only thing you really need in Presto is the org structure, the org chart. So you got the teams and you got the people. But from what I find, most, and even in big companies, but definitely in small and mid-sized companies, that process list doesn't exist anywhere. If it does, it exists in some type of offline spreadsheet. So the processes, the checklists, Presto, in my experience, becomes the single point of truth for most of the know-how that's out there. And that's what makes it a unique machine. It's capturing a lot of quality information that doesn't exist anywhere else, and it lets you fill in a lot of the IT gaps. To answer your question, we have a team of developers. It's usually between 4, sometimes up to 7 or 8, depending on how much stuff is going on. Like right now, we're building a mobile app for issue management, and we're building the online free version. So we have 3 full-time developers just on those things. But if we have a client come in and they say, I have 150 users and we want SAP to feed the org chart to the dashboard, then we're immediately going to increase our developers to make sure that gets done right at the beginning. So, but part of the implementation, and Mike, I don't know where you're coming from. You're speaking about a big company where you really plan on using a lot of licenses. Then what we would do at the enterprise level, we're going to spend some time identifying every reporting gap and find every connecting possibility where we can use APIs and webhooks to feed that dashboard. But I think you'll find if you want to get to that level, in most cases, it's going to be Presto feeding something else. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. And I see you have another one. Is it still valid?
Yes, it's still valid.
Okay, this platform offers a lot of concepts for practical use in the business. Small businesses don't typically understand all these concepts and typically only see the need for some of them. Exactly. Do you have any material to provide guidance on change management for leaders to bring them along over time? Approach: start small, add incrementally over time. Yeah, and our main strategy on acquiring clients. Now we have a lot of lessons learned over the years, or should I say it just flat out, we made a lot of mistakes over the years working with companies that are not ready for this. So now we have a nice red flag screening process. So it's pretty clear to both sides when people want to start working with us, if they should or should not be working with us. The metaphor I always use in any type of implementation or even sales discussion is Presto's like a state-of-the-art gym. It has all kinds of new equipment. It has all kinds of new techniques, state-of-the-art, that have been proven to make your company better and to take you to that next level of digital transformation. But it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a gym. You still need to get ready to sweat. The first thing I try to understand when somebody comes to us is if they're just trying to reduce work and cut down tasks and maybe even cut staff. Those clients we want to stay away from with yardsticks, because at the end of the day, we're teaching you to do a bunch of things that you've never done before, and obviously we want commitment. And the other thing, from an implementation point of view, my ideal implementation, we have somebody from our consulting team, maybe not full-time on site, but at least have a weekly presence to make sure we can shake hands and make sure we can get to know the people that have to use the machine. Now, as you know, working in a remote environment, it opens a lot of doors for excuses, and there's a lot of slowdown. That's what I've seen over the last few years in areas where you probably wouldn't have seen it if people were on site. So the point is that what you're looking, my message to any company is better 5 minutes a day in Presto than 5 hours one day a month. In fact, 5 hours one day a month will get you nothing. But if somebody goes in there for 5 minutes a day, just does one little thing, they got the discipline and they're going to keep that dashboard the way it's supposed to look. And of course, your main goal is to get your senior management team looking at that dashboard. And as soon as they see the value, what they're going to do, they're going to give the mandate and say, hey, you know what? I want all team leaders showing me all my process waste on that dashboard. I want all their continuous improvement projects in PDCA format, so I can just go in, click, and feel comfortable and not have to bother anybody. But anyway, yeah, reach out to us or visit the website. We got a ton of field guides, job aids. We got all kinds of Kanban job aid type things that show you how to do a lot of what you saw today with or without the software.
Thank you.
I'm going to look at more questions, but does anybody have questions they want to ask while I'm scrolling? I see a lot of microphone issues. Okay. Who's still on the line? Oh, I see Panagiotis. Kalispera. Hey, Leonardo. Cool.
Hi, Andrew. Very
Hey.
nice, very nice.
Did you see the whole demo?
I lost a little bit in the beginning, but I'm covered. It's fine. It's very nice. Very convenient. I like it very much.
Does your company connect to these type of ideas?
Listen, due to the fact that it's a medium-sized company, I feel that my company lacks a little bit of knowledge on such things. But I'm sure that with the right training and knowledge sharing, they could get along. Yes, but
So,
it's a medium-sized company, and they are not so familiar with all these things yet.
yeah, I'll highlight. So as those of us who have been our followers from the beginning, they've seen our growth, and we went from enterprise relationships to the small and mid-sized market. So you can see most of the demos I've been doing now for the last 2 years have been very focused on the little guy, on the medium-sized guy. But if you're a company that, like Panagiotis, you actually work in a pretty big company. It's a mid-sized company, and what you didn't see in the offer today is that for the mid-sized companies and even the big companies will be happy to discuss how to do very quick win type test pilots, and we don't use the logic where you just say, okay, let's go install KPIs, let's go, what does lean tell us to do? The first question I ask is just tell us about the teams where you want to see some improvements, and the first thing we do is put a couple of KPIs in place at the team lead level. Basically KPIs for a team leader just to say where things are slow and where quality is not where it's supposed to be. And it's very easy binary KPIs that take less than 2 minutes a day. And that allows you to start getting some usage. And what we can offer without even putting too much commitment on your side is we can even offer you a free test pilot where we'll connect with you once a month for 30 minutes, and we'll give you a guided task list on what maybe 1 or 2 people that should be doing some things, and we can do that over the course of time. We got a couple of big names. I can't mention them yet, but you definitely know who they are. One of them is a big airline company that's doing the same thing, and we're mentoring them in their Presto experience. And the goal is to get Presto integrated into the 2024 strategy deployment plan. But thanks for that comment, Panagiotis. Hey, I see Leonardo Reyes is on the line. Hey, how you doing, Leonardo? This is a PMO expert. I think he just published a book as well on PMO, on how to manage a PMO. Leonardo, you still there? No, maybe he's not. No issue. I still see quite a few people. Does anyone have any questions they would like to talk about? Okay. So anyway, the offers here, if you're interested in joining us, sign up, and immediately we are going to, if you sign up immediately, someone will reach out to you and get to know you to schedule your first introductory appointment. But when you sign up, you'll get your licenses, and you're going to immediately get access to a training showroom, which is going to walk you through pretty much everything you saw today. You'll be able to learn how to do the majority of this in less than 2 hours. And it's super easy to follow this. There's 6 major steps with 6 videos that you follow. And it's all completely automated. So either go online, sign up for the Scout module, that's where you'll see project management, or sign up for one of the change management PMO bundles. It should be clear to you, but if it's not, reach out to us and we'll direct you in the right direction. Okay, I'm looking at questions. I don't see anybody else. I see a thanks, Ian. Is Ian still on the? I didn't realize Ian was in the call. Ian's one of our newest clients. Mike is on board with this, and I plan to get more of us using next month. Okay. All right. Once again, thanks everybody for your time. Love having you guys in our following. I'm seeing a lot of you multiple times, so it's really exciting. So looking forward to working with everybody if possible. So anyway, wishing you a great evening, wishing everybody a great weekend as well. So thank you very much.
You too. Thank you very much. Bye. Thank you.